In late 2020, Reservoir Media acquired the entire Tommy Boy catalog. That was De La Soul, Queen Latifah, and many others. In doing so, they were able to restructure the deal with De La Soul for releasing their catalog on streaming services. This conversation with the group is a special moment we caught back in 2018 as they were working on clearing all their samples before Reservoir stepped in. And with the recent passing of Trugoy, aka Dove, Dave, we want to make sure we show love and respect to the entire incredible career of De La Soul. It is a hip-hop historic moment right now.
That it is.
De La Soul
Yeah.
has stepped in the building. The whole collective is here to celebrate.
Yes.
We have never experienced, in as big as hip-hop is right now, there is not a blueprint for an original hip-hop group, one of the greatest hip-hop groups ever, to make their music available on streaming services.
Right.
That has never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going like, yo, y'all don't understand. There is no
Right.
Black Hippie. There is no Backpack. There is no Underground. There is no, as we know, the 90s without De La Soul, right? And so because of that, this is going to shift an entire generation who may not even be in streaming yet. People are going to go, oh, wait, I don't have De La Soul in my phone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can't put a figure next to it. So I'm proud of you guys for fighting and making sure that this is a moment where not only your fans, but the industry has to pay attention.
Right.
Yeah.
When the Beatles made their digital catalog available, right? That was a moment.
That was a moment.
Totally.
This is our version of that for hip hop.
Let me tell you, I said that the other day. I remember that day. I remember seeing the splash on the Apple website and I believe it was the whites. They was in white suits. And I'm like, that's what's happening right now. That's what should be happening. It should be celebrated in that way. It should, we are that hip hop version of that.
That's right.
The biggest fear is just almost feeling like you're being written out of history. That's how
being
big.
written out of history, let alone financially being taken advantage of. Feeling like the workhorse, the mule for something you don't really benefit from at all.
Yeah.
What do you guys have control over outside of the music? Everything else?
Yeah, we have our brand that we're in control
So that
of.
logo,
Yeah, that's us.
that merch.
Yeah, that's us. Tour money, all of that.
all
That's us.
you know?
We actually truly manage ourselves.
I salute y'all for still, coming through and having this conversation. 3 Feet High and Rising. De La Soul is dead. Balloon Mind State.
Yep.
Stakes is high. Artificial Intelligence Bionics. Do you guys still hate Me, Myself, and I?
Nah, man.
Nah.
There was a period, though. Don't act like
I can't say we hated
It's
it.
performing
man.
it.
It's
Yeah,
performing
performing
it, knowing that's the record you have to do, no matter what. And I got to give it up to the audience that make it fresh every time we do it, because we know it's something we have to commit to doing because it set the tone for a lot.
It's a moment in our lives that was really important. It's really important to us, and it guided us in a direction that, it's made us who we are today. Fighting for our music, fighting for our legacy, and fighting for what felt good to us and what's important to us.
When you look at a lot of artists now that take creative risks, right, and push the envelope and do things that are quote unquote unpopular in hip hop, y'all did that.
Yeah.
Right, which is, when you look back at the visuals, it's bonkers, right? I was like 14 years old at the time. Instantly, me being a kid, I got a white mom, right? I'm growing up in Northern California. Pan-Africanism and activism is a part of dinner table conversations, right? The hairstyles, the flat tops, the whole was, Africa medallions, no gold. Like that was these were real conversations and things that were happening in black households. It wasn't just the guy on the street, the drug dealer, the guy, the Cadillac, the car, all of these stereotypical quote unquote images. You guys shattered some of that, right? In the moment, I'm sure you guys, were you thinking about that?
Nah.
No.
In the moment, no. We were just being us. We were the same kids who could tell you any Coogee rap lyric, Rakim, Kane. We idolized some of the MCs who would be considered the most street MCs, though knowledgeable. But we were just still being us. You know, we had to do it the way we did it. You know, and we helped each other. You know, we helped each other to be comfortable in being ourselves. You know, you can see that in a group like Outkast. You know, Dre didn't start off dressing the way he was until, you know, being around Gip and Grow and people, you know, being of like mind. And me and Dave saying like, yo, I'm gonna take these old pants my pops don't wear and I'm gonna like taper them, but wear them with these banging spot belts. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do the same thing. Let me go. We just helped. That was already in us, and it has helped us to just want to go further. And it was the same with music. And I tell people all the time that Me, Myself, and I video, that really wasn't us. We were amongst the popular kids in school. No hard rock kid ever tried to harm Dave or Mace or me. Like,
but what inspired you guys to be that? What were you looking at?
Man, I mean, it's a good question, because what we were looking at is KRS-One and Dapper Dan suits.
Yeah.
Run DMC and, you know, leather and Adidas. That was us. That was Dougie Fresh and Bally's and, you know.
We had those travel foxes on.
But at the same time, I think we was just expressive kids, not afraid to say this is me. We was just these spaced kids, man, who just like really felt like we was doing something special. Mm-hmm. And, you know, at the same time, you walking into school with the, you know, tapered plaid pants but you got the spot belts on and your hair looked crazy. People also looking at you like, oh, that is cool. We were immersed in what hip-hop was at that time, the culture, the music, everything. When I think of who kind of gave us maybe that battery to say we should feel comfortable how we express ourselves, Ultramagnetic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The way if you listen to those rhymes early on, especially on Ego Tripping,
and the production,
they saying some crazy, wild, out of space. And when we heard that, it was like, oh, we could say what we want.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We don't have to sound like MC Shan. We don't have to look like LL Cool J. Mm-hmm. Although we love those people, but we could do what we want.
And we could push the boundaries.
Yeah, absolutely. Ultramagnetic was like one of the groups that made us feel comfortable being ourselves.
When did you guys first step in and record? What was the first recording moment?
First real studio we stepped into was Calliope with Prince Paul, and we started to work on plug tuning.
And how much did you have, you know, and I'm having this conversation because now for somebody to put a song up and have it for sale, it can happen in legit 24 hours.
Yeah.
Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I often tell people the reason that, you know, the greats are the greats is because the amount of preparation that it took to even get to a studio to record a song, a singular song, right, was days of preparation to make sure you didn't waste time.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, as you saving every penny to get in that studio, you might have had like 6-7 hours, and you wanted to, you know, maximize on the time, be as efficient as possible. And it did. You know, we was at Prince Paul's house, you know, formulating, you know, okay, we got the main loop, here's some drums. So how many lines are you going to say? You going to say this amount?
Buddy, how did Buddy actually come together?
It was just at first a record that Mace had, a Commodore's record he would play. He would just play it now and then, maybe cut it back and forth, what have you. But then also Mace would love to cut the Hit and Miss record. And one day I think Mace was cutting it just in his crib, and he just kept doing it, and Dave just kept saying meanie meanie over it. Like every time Mace would rub to the top, and then he just kept meanie 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 meanie. And then we was like, yo, this could be one of the songs we put together. And then Mace was like, yeah, let's put the beat with that Commodore's record. But it just so happened that that day we went into the studio was just the day Jungle just happened to come to the studio. Wow. So it was never meant for them to be on the record. They just showed up that day. And then we was like, yo, y'all want to get on this record? We assigned the rhymes, and it just went off like that.
Hopefully one day we'll be able to get you guys to sit down with Pharrell. I want to make that conversation happen.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Right? Because I firmly believe that what you guys did with fashion, the look, the imagery is what shaped what became Neptunes, Pharrell. I mean, obviously Ultramagnetic in there with the Space Cadet, all that. But just the visual, the fashion part was I don't think you guys get credit for that. And that's why early in the convo I kept bringing up, like, what was y'all looking at? Why was y'all clothes?
Right.
Because that was the look.
Yeah. It absolutely was.
Yeah, it was.
That became a look.
No doubt.
I mean, when you talk about like a song like Take It Off on the first record, and we're like, dispelling and downplaying a lot of, the stuff that we thought was long overdue to go.
Right. Played out.
That's where it was. We was trying to take it to the next place. We're letting people know that, there's individuality here. Not all of us have to wear Adidas. I appreciate you bringing that up. Like, people don't talk about the fashion aspect of where we kind of like
fractured the standard.
Yeah.
Real talk. And running around New York City at that time, early 90s, right? Being, y'all was about to graduate high school, et cetera, et cetera. What was the generational feedback in hip hop, right? And I think I want to have this conversation so that, young artists right now, they talk generation. Oh, the old heads is hating on us, and you know what I mean. Why everybody hating on our style? We trying to do something different, and blah. And was it that way for you guys as well? Did you experience any generational hate?
Our peers were so supportive.
Yeah,
so supportive. I remember
some people felt like they didn't get it.
Yeah,
but it was never no real hate
because the rhymes was thorough. The rhymes was always thorough, so they couldn't really hate on that. The break beats and samples was...
Yeah, the music was on point, unlike some things that they heard before. But I think what we always ran into was these artists, our peers, people who we looked up to, saying, yo, man, I wanted to do that. I wanted to rhyme off of that.
Yeah.
I wanted to do that concept, but it just wasn't me. That wasn't my style. And I think we spoke to that. I think we spoke to what people wanted to do, but just couldn't, or just decided not to.
Or felt it was too risky based on what was happening.
If you would like to, I feel, I can't even, it's tough for me to do this interview. You know that?
Really?
It's tough. 3 Feet High and Rising, changed hip hop. De La Soul is dead. Let's review. Why did De La Soul die?
Well, look, you figure everything we did on 3 Feet High and Rising was based off of ideas we had been putting together, just whatever, from probably what age, I don't know, 16, 15, 16, whatever. You figure once 3 Feet High and Rising dropped, the mass, amazing chaos, what that album caused and brought to our lives, what we were seeing was going to now guide our pen, guide what we was going to do. Now we're flying everywhere. We can buy records outside of just Amityville or New York. So we were in Rush Management, and they had this board where they had like tribes names,
everybody's schedule,
leaders, everyone's schedule, and they had all of our dates listed, and when that date is going to be. And Dave was just looking at the dates, and then Dave walked up to the board, erased all of our dates, and wrote "De La Soul is dead," and we started just dying laughing. But then we was like, yo, I think you said, he was like, that would be a dope title for an album. And we was like, yeah. And we had no idea what it would mean. It just sounded so dope. He did it because he was just tired of going out and doing shows. But then it grew into a life of itself, of tying into, we're tired of people talking about this Daisy, flowers, this hippie.
Between Balloon Mind State and Stakes is High, let's just jump into that Balloon Mind State, Stakes is High zone.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the sonic shift.
I mean, just being motivated and inspired by what we could see.
Learning the equipment, being more confident as producers. I mean, might be the first time that we produced individually. We still did some layering collectively, but it was more production was done at home. We had equipment, and everybody also had new learning experience. Like, I could honestly say I was highly influenced by what Tribe was doing, where the more jazz influence came from,
Right.
So it was just being around these new experiences and feeling really comfortable with becoming like certified producers now.
And even individually, as Mace is saying, sometimes certain ideas from one person in a group can kind of just naturally be okay, everyone's going to roll with that. And Dave really started showing up more, like, say, on De La Soul's Dead when he first did Oodles of O's. Like, Dave did that. And then people start layering. So when you talk about, then when you get to Shafi MCs, that's Dave. And then we're going into Stakes is High. That's Dave. So that's where that sound was changing up, because I was always about trying to find stuff that was really melodic. Dave had a good ear from hearing like sounds and breaking them up. So that's him.
I did Shafi MC.
Yeah.
Word? That's crazy. Word?
Yeah, because from the record.
No, I remember the sample. I didn't realize I
and you did the
That's crazy though.
Yo, Dave's eyes was like,
word.
Yo, I'm nice.
Yo, seriously, like
I'm that nice.
I really didn't remember that. I put that together. Word.
Look, I want to get to Balloon Mind State, Break of Dawn. Who chopped the sample up and really got the Break of Dawn going?
Break of Dawn was something I put together. Once again, that was a song that was for Prince Paul's artist, Mike Toluxon. I put together Break of Dawn after watching like the Motown 25. Like Motown 25 came on, Smokey Robinson was performing, and literally at the same time, I just happened to have the Michael Jackson record, I Can't Help It, on the turntable while he was doing Quiet Storm. And I was like, I think these two records can go together. And that was just how I made Break of Dawn. Wow. Watching Motown 25, and I just happened to have in my room. I can't help it right there. I can't help it.
I am, I be. What makes you say that, Paz?
I mean, it's pretty much like, if not my favorite De La record, one of my favorites. Like I love that record.
Why?
I love something that makes me want to just kind of like think and write.
To the extent that Paz wrote my rhymes on that song.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Because you was going off. It just inspired you that much.
Yeah, I just love.
He was like, "Come walk with me."
Yeah, I just love how it feels.
Shut up,
man. Now, a fundamental seismic shift in the De La catalog took place on Stakes is High. Why were the stakes high?
We had a lot of things going on with us. Number one, Prince Paul was partying, but in a respectful way,
amicable,
all that. Paul was just like, I got a lot of things to do, and you guys are well aware of how to get around in the studio. Your production is tight. You know what you want to do. You got your plan. Let me just step back, concentrate on what I got to do, and let you guys rock. It was the first time we actually invited that many outside producers into our space.
Do y'all ever, I mean, you're you, so maybe you don't really trip. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are y'all. But, you know, as somebody who's just, you know, been in media and playing your music, and all of the artists that came up with you, and I started this in 1990. Yo, the levels that hip-hop has reached it's gotta blow your mind a little bit. I mean, Queen Latifah.
It blows my mind every time, especially when I look at Latifah. You know, to know that we were in the office when her demo came through.
Yeah.
And
that's
out of
so true.
And out of respect, if you listen to the Wrath of My Madness, the first 8 bars is the rhyme style of plug tuning.
Yeah.
So it was her paying respect out the gate of what she loved, what inspired her to do her thing. And then we being in the office hearing that demo and was like, yeah, you gotta sign her. This needs to happen. This is on fire.
Do you guys ever communicate with younger artists? Do they, you know, reach out? I don't know how they, you know, if they see y'all maybe at shows, do people ask you, you know, how you stay dope? Right, because that's you know, that piece of it, like staying dope, not staying hot, staying dope.
It's funny you mentioned that. It was a serious questions that came from one artist that approached us when we were on the road, and we were running into him very often, you know, just in passing, and that was A$AP Rocky. And he came into the dressing room, and he was like, yo, I see y'all everywhere. Everywhere. Ever since I came out, I still see De La Soul. I need to know how y'all still doing it. He said, because I'm in a little longer now and I'm going through upsets and I'm considered to be old school now and blah, blah, blah. And I only been in the game maybe about 6, 7 years. And this was what, 5 years ago? Yeah. He wanted to know, you know? And I was like,
it was a great conversation to have with him, too.
It was great because I was like, yo, I appreciate you even coming in here forwarding those questions, you know? This been on your mind, obviously, you know? You seeing something a little bit deeper than just us being here and want to figure something out for yourself, you know? And we just talked. And that was a great talk, you know? And I felt honored to know that I was a part of his life like that, you know? And to actually hear it from a younger cat coming up.
To almost feel like this was when we sat down with Chuck D.
Y'all did the same thing to Chuck.
Like sitting down with Chuck in the beginning and sitting down with L in the beginning. You know, it was like, the lessons that were given, you know. I'm being asked for those same lessons. So it was honorable, man. It felt great. You know, I wish it could continue more, you know. I do run into some of these cats here and there, and they do salute me.
There are young folks, too. I mean, and some of them aren't aware of, you know, what we've done, you know, but just naturally because they're younger. I remember when we bumped into Earl Sweatshirt.
Yo, Odd Future is y'all.
It was funny because I think as far back as he goes, his stakes is high. So, but it was nice to see that, you know, when we look at it, we're like, these guys remind us of ourselves. And for him to see us and give us, you know, accolades, it was like, okay, the connection is there. We know it's there.
Yeah. I'll take it a step further. A lot of them around the same ages of my sons.
Just so we have it documented, too. Origin of Plug 1, Plug 2. What is the origin? So it's documented and there's no debates and we just have it.
Yeah, it's plug tuning was simply a routine. So it wasn't like we made this song plug tuning. Plug tuning for us was like us listening out to our gods, Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, whoever else, Cold Crush, and we were just trying to be in the house writing routines. And the routine we made was called plug tuning. And it just happened to be where, you know, we did a chant in front of it. So it was like 1 2 1 2. It was like plug 1, plug 2. It was just simply a routine. Mace would cut Impeach the President. We would rhyme over it, and that was it. And then, you know, of course, the record of that out of my father collection came later to be added as the music. But yeah, plug 1, plug 2. Once they saw us visually live, I was just the one saying plug 1. That didn't have nothing to do with my name. I was Pasta Noose, and I was just saying plug 1. He says plug 2. And so people would start coming up to us like, yo, plug 1. We saw you at Hotel Amazon when you performed your record. Yo, plug 2, what up? And Mace just by default became plug 3.
Right.
So it was never planned. It was just based off of that first record.
And what is Paz de Noose? So we have it.
When I first tried to rhyme, I called myself MC Legiticus. That was my name. Dead up.
You brought that up. Now we got to say, come on. You said, what's up, man?
I'm MC Legiticus. But at one point, me, Dave, a couple other friends from the neighborhood went up against some dudes at our school and beatboxing and rhyming, and then we decided.
I was in that crew at the time too.
Yeah.
Wait, you was in the opposite crew.
I was in the opposite crew.
Yeah. So after Dave battled their beatbox and ripped, we went outside like, yo, man, we gotta become a crew. And I was like, yo, you know, I always try to think of names. I was like, yo, we should call ourselves Sop Sound. And they was like, because like for me, like coming from the country, my mother would always be like, boy, you better not waste none of that food. Take that bread and sop that syrup up. So I was like, let's call ourselves the Sop Sound Crew. Like we all these different flavors that sop together. And it was like, nah, Mercer. And our people, Tabs, was like, nah, let's call ourselves Easy Street. So we became Easy Street. And I was like, then I'm going to call myself DJ Sop Sounds. So later on, when I went back to rhyming, I was like, oh, I'm going back from rhyming to DJ to rhyming. I turned Sop, the Pos, Sound to Danoose. And that's how I became Pasta Noose. Yeah.
Wow. Trugoy.
Trugoy was following lead. I was eating a lot of yogurt at that time. That was my new thing. And I was like, this fool turning words backwards? All right. Yogurt. I'm going to turn that backward. Trugoy. And my mom used to always call me Dove. So I just added the Dove, Trugoy the Dove.
Just being playful.
It was JD Dove at first.
Yeah, you're right.
JD Dove,
Yeah.
and that was out of TJ Swan. I was like, TJ Swan? I'm gonna call myself JD Dove. And that's where that came. And then the whole yogurt thing turned around and became Trugoy.
Swan Dove. And the Maceo Mace.
Mason. My last name is Mason. You know, PA system I got from Pos, because obviously around that time I was rocking with a lot of sound systems. So I was representing the sound system culture. So instead of saying DJ, we said PA system.
Love it.
And I kept the master because of Jam Master Jay, Grandmaster Flash, looking to be a master at what we do here, you know?
That's dope. Yo, that's dope. I don't know, I'm sure you guys have told this story, but it's been some time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been some while.
Because there's always rumors, too. Like, there's always, you know, and you guys had a lot of rumors. I think you guys, and Dave, if I recall, you're one of the bigger, we call them trolls now, but back in the day, you were one of the bigger, you know, starters. But not. I'm not talking about when you used to smack people up.
nah.
I'm talking about when, you know, like the way you guys would be mysterious with the stories, and everything was multi-layered, and it wasn't just like
That was important though to us. I think the idea of not making it so easy,
right,
complicating things, sending people for a spin. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to find their way back. That was important. That was important to us.
And even Paz and Dave, y'all rhyme styles where it would be like, wait, they not even, wait, that don't go there. Why? How did he rhyme that with? Oh, he went 5 lines later and rhymed. Oh, this is crazy.
It definitely was important for us to do it different.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we idolized the greats just like everybody else. But when it came to De La and what we were doing in the studio, the greats couldn't f with us because we did it our way.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It hadn't been done before.
It hadn't been done before, exactly. But that was our focus, to be different.
Yeah.
You know, we were already different, but let's keep that as the mantra. Be different.
And that's one of the things about what's important and what's happening right now is we appreciate you for that. That, you know, at the time, I'm sure you guys questioned and people questioned and what are you doing? And, you know, I'm hearing you tell the stories, right? But you guys pushed forward into a space that diversified and created a more diverse space for black men.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? Like that's a thing.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Right? Where you know, you didn't have to, if you're not from the street, you ain't got to perpetuate that.
You got to perpetuate that.
Right.
You ain't got to front, fake, or nothing.
And you definitely don't have to do it to create music.
Right.
And to be popular. Look, I remember when Ice Cube said, dudes with the funny haircuts, it'll drive you nuts. And it was like, oh, we can't even have fun no more.
Right.
They making fun of our hairstyles.
No, that's real.
Jacking for Beats came out, Ice Cube and them, and NWA, you know, it was like, damn, I gotta cut my flat top. He's stripping. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But I remember that was a thing. You know what I mean? And things went more gangster, and that's what became popular. And
I mean, you definitely had, and definitely fans. Like, as you were just saying, like you could have a fan of De La's, or in that vein of even Del take that seriously. But then you had the artist himself, like Ice Cube, who loved De La.
But that's why he brought Del in the game, right?
Exactly.
Like he was like, this was my, I don't know if they was really related or not.
They are related.
They are really related. Yeah, he
no
brought
doubt.
him in the game. I've never called the first artificial intelligence Mosaic Thump. That's never come out of my mouth before.
I heard you earlier.
I was like, Mosaic Thump?
Yeah.
What is that? I never paid attention. It was just that Ooh record. Yo, y'all linking with Redman was a big moment.
Yeah.
That was a big moment. How did that come together?
It felt like it. I mean, with hearing the beat, putting it together, you know, we was trying to figure out a chorus. I'm trying to overthink it. Dave's like, Merce, man, it's going, ooh, let's just make it that. And it just spoke to us, and Dave was like, yo, man, Redman would sound dope on this. And I think we was really just thinking him, well, as we did use him, for the chorus. It wasn't even trying to, like, necessarily have him rhyme.
It's funny. We hear people as instruments.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to approach another artist, fellow artist, and say, we just want you for a chorus. That's kind of like not to say it's disrespectful, but it's difficult to ask another artist that we just want you to do this job.
Especially a rapper like Redman, who's a rapper.
Yeah. I mean, Nas, we did the joint
Got It. Yeah.
Got It with Nas, and Nas was like, yo, I thought y'all was gonna let me get a verse in there. I'm like, yo, why didn't you just do it?
Yeah.
But we often hear people as instruments, and it's kind of hard. But we have an agenda with this song. We need for you to be your best chorus ever.
Before you guys had done that, this is 2000. Because, you know, that kind of got done again. Kanye did that again, where he used, like, Jeezy's voice in a certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kanye started getting into that thing. Drake does that a little bit right now.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's difficult, man. It's difficult to, that's a hard thing to do because you respect the person and you know that they have that talent and that ability to come with it as well.
Yeah, but you hear what you hear.
But you hear what you hear, right.
And a little bit of piano. And a little bit of Redman.
I'm about to let De La get up out of here. I've been keeping them all day. I appreciate y'all time. We up to bionics, artificial intelligence, bionics. I want to get this peer pressure on. This Jay Dilla record. Had this been something you guys had already had?
No, it was like we were in Cali at like some radio thing we had to perform at. Cypress was there. Me, Mace, and Be Real standing around. I see out the side of my eye, Mace is giving Be Real the elbow, because he know I don't smoke. So they light whatever. We standing, I see him tapping, like, okay, here's this. And then he goes like, here, Merce. He's putting it in my face. Yeah, and then he started laughing like,
Be
feel
Real
the pressure.
got that killer too. He
Feel
got that
the
killer.
pressure. And we're dying laughing. And then right there, bing, I was like, yo, that'd be a dope record. Y'all trying to pressure me to smoke. And we like, yo, that would be crazy. And then, you know, we get back home, back in the studio. Dilla sending us stuff. And when I heard that beat, I was like, this could be the beat for that idea, Mace. And it was
the way the beat even creeps up.
Yeah, like it slows down, it speeds up.
Like the beat is getting high, basically.
Wow.
That's dope, man.
That's a dope beat. Peer pressure?
Yo, just so y'all know, this wasn't even going to be on the air. Shout to Jay-Z. Shout to everybody else in hip-hop that knows how important De La Soul is and how important it is for this moment in hip-hop history to be handled properly
No, we
and
appreciate
carefully.
that, bro. We appreciate it, for real.
I really appreciate the entire culture.
Yeah.
The entire hip-hop culture that has showed up for us. You know, Jay-Z in particular. Big up to Nas. Big up to even all the industry people that are really in support of this, you know, because times must change, you know.
And that should be a testament and also a blueprint, right, for young artists out there.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Definitely.
because you guys have been able, De La Soul, because of the way you handled the business of your brand beyond the music. Before that was even a thing.
Yeah.
De La Soul